Focaccia, legendary for its versatility and loved for its simplicity. You can mix this in the afternoon and have a masterpiece on your dinner table. The recipe is in the description below. Print that out and you can follow along. I do love the simplicity of this bread. These are the ingredients. This is it. First thing you'll do is put 4 cups of all-purpose flour into your bowl. This is 500 grams. I'm using a high-quality all-purpose flour. This is King Arthur. It is 11.7% protein. So it has a nice amount of protein content to give us that nice structure we're looking for, but it's not as high as bread flour, which can sometimes produce a chewy, more rubbery texture than I'm looking for. Next, you'll add 2 1/4 teaspoons of instant yeast. This is 7 grams. 2 teaspoons of fine sea salt. This is 11 grams. This will give us some lovely flavor for our bread. And next we're adding 2 1/2 teaspoons of granulated sugar. This is 10 grams. I am adding this sugar in for a slightly crunchier crust and a more golden brown color. And yeast loves sugar. This helps wake them up. Now with whatever you're using, a spoon, a bowl scraper, whatever utensil you're using, give this flour just a good little mix. Once you have your flour mixture combined, next you'll add your water. I have pre-measured this as well. This is 1 3/4 cup of warm water. If you're using a thermometer, it's about 90 degrees Fahrenheit or 32 degrees Celsius. This is 400 grams. And then we're adding 1 1/2 tablespoons of olive oil. That's 20 grams. And now you just want to give this a really good mix. You'll want to mix this until you have all of the liquid combined and you see no more dry flour particles down in the bottom of the bowl until you get that sticky dough you're looking for. When you're done, you should have a soft, sticky dough. So you want to cover this up and we're going to let it rest for 30 minutes. This is called bulk fermentation, and the name signifies exactly what it is. It's the stage when the dough is fermenting as a single large mass. This is the first crucial rise of the bread dough where the yeast is consuming the sugars, it's creating gas for leavening, and the gluten for structure and acids for flavor. Set your timer for 30 minutes and we'll be back here in a little bit. The first 30 minutes of our bulk fermentation are up, and you have a look here. You'll see nothing remarkable at this point. It has risen a little bit and it's still really shaggy and sticky. We'll be doing 4 sets of coil folds. Coil folds work really well for high hydration dough. The folds help strengthen the gluten, and this process also builds up that beautiful airy structure inside by introducing air as we fold. To do this, you want a bowl of water. You want to keep your hands really wet because, again, this is, at first, it's very sticky. And then I'll just show you, we're doing a north, south, east, west fold. So reach your hands into the sides. You'll pick the dough straight up. Reach under the middle with your hands. When the dough comes off of the bowl, just lay it straight down. Then we're turning the bowl. So this is the north-south. Wet your hands again and do the same thing again. Now just turn the bowl 90 degrees and we're going to do those same 2 folds again. So we're building in horizontal and vertical strands. Put your hand underneath. Do the same thing again. The dough is already changing and getting a little more structure to it. And now we cover this and let it rest for 30 minutes. If I jiggle this bowl, this is filled with pockets of air, which is exactly what we wanted. So now, I'm using a 13 by 9 pan. Metal is best if you have one. We're putting this in a hot oven, and metal will grab the heat a lot faster, and we want heat infused into the bottom of this bread quickly so that the bottom browns and then you get that nice oven rise. So if you have a metal pan, that's the perfect one to use. Now drizzle, I'm not measuring, you just want to drizzle 3 to 4 tablespoons in the bottom of your pan, And I will put a little more on first. I'm going to just spread with my fingers. And just run my hands up the side. I put a small piece of parchment paper. I just cut this from a large piece just into a little strip. Put this in your pan. And I'm doing this because when we pull the focaccia out of the oven, you want to remove it from the pan immediately. If it stays in the pan, it'll draw moisture, and we just, in that hot oven, we work to get that bottom crisped, and so you don't want to leave it in the pan. So it's very tender and warm when it first comes out of the oven. You don't have to do this, but this allows you to lift the bread out by grabbing a hold of these two pieces very easily and then just transfer it to your cooling rack. I usually put a little more olive oil just on the top. Once you have your pan prepared, then just gently and carefully pour this right into your pan. I'm going to drizzle some olive oil on top of it, and then it will just continue its bulk fermentation until it fills this pan up. Now we will cover this up. If you have a baking pan around the same size, you can put that on top. You want to keep this moist the whole time. It's still hydrating, and you don't want it to dry out. So cover it up. If you have saran wrap, lightly grease the underside of it so that the dough doesn't stick to it, and just keep an eye on it. It could fill the pan within an hour. It could be an hour and a half. It could be 2 hours. You're waiting for this thing to just go and grow and bubble and fill this pan. Our dough has risen for about an hour and 15 minutes. Everybody's rise time will be different depending on the temperature of your house. Take a moment, look at your dough. You want to make sure that you see lots of bubbles, that it's nice and risen. And if you do the wobble test, you should see a whole new wobble. The whole thing is just wobbling. This is beautifully risen. So I have already preheated my oven to 450 degrees. That's 230 Celsius. Now we want to drizzle some olive oil on the surface. You can measure if you want. If you have a pour spout like this, it's just as easy. I'm doing another, probably like 2 tablespoons. In case you're wondering, you can't put too much on. So oil your fingers. You do not want your fingers to stick, and the next step is to dimple. If you have any areas of the pan like I do, it didn't quite make it into the corners on either side. As you're dimpling, you can kind of coax it in that direction, but this is very fragile at this stage. So just do it gentle. Plunge your fingers straight to the bottom, and you can kind of move it toward the edges, but be gentle at the same time. All right, here we go. So put your fingers just straight down to the bottom, and then just pull straight back up. Just keep doing that. Work your way the whole way across the pan. Now the next step that I'm doing is making a salt brine. If you want your crust a little crisped, then I would recommend you try this. If you want your crust softer, then just skip this step. I'm adding 1 teaspoon of fine sea salt into 2 tablespoons of lukewarm water. Give that a stir. Once it's dissolved, you'll just sprinkle this on. It will go down into the dimples. Most of them are filled with olive oil, so this will just kind of sit right in there with the olive oil. When it hits the heat of the oven, this will create steam, and it'll cause the top of the crust just to crisp up a little bit. Again, if you want it softer, just skip this step. I'm going to just sprinkle this on. And now my final finishing touch is I am adding some coarse salt. This would be the time that you would add any topping that you like. You can put cherry tomatoes on. You can put sauteed onions and peppers, rosemary, olives, anything that you like. Now is the time to put those toppings on. I'm just doing some coarse sea salt. Now it's time to place this in the oven. And I'm putting it on the lower rack. I want that lower heating element to just hit the bottom of this pan and brown the bottom of the bread immediately, and it'll give it a nice oven rise. 15 minutes into the bake, I will then pull it from the lower rack and put it on the upper rack. Total bake time should be 18 to 22 minutes. So as I said earlier, this is fragile. Do the best you can. You need to get this out of the pan immediately after pulling it from the oven. If you did a parchment paper, it slides right out. This is absolutely beautiful. In a little bit, I'll show you the bottom. I'm just not going to touch it for 5 or 10 minutes. I'm just letting it cool down. But listen, that's exactly what I wanted. A nice crisp outer shell and the inside will be very soft and light and fluffy. So it's perfect. The focaccia has cooled for about 15 to 20 minutes, and I've waited as long as I can. The house smells incredible. This smells so, so good. So focaccia is best if enjoyed like while it's still warm, not hot, but while it's still warm, or definitely the same day that you make it. It is still good the day after you make it, but the first day is the best. So I'm going to cut into this and we'll have a look at the texture and just have a bite. Look at the texture of this bread. It is so beautiful. It's just filled with little holes, and look how soft it is. Like the inside is just soft. There's that gorgeous olive oil. Look at the bottom. I guess I wanted to show you the bottom of this. It's just beautifully done. I hope you saw how easy and rewarding this focaccia is to make. This is a great way to make a masterpiece for company or your family or even just yourself. If you enjoy making bread, check out my bread playlist. I look forward to baking with you in the next video.